Hey yo, it's Brian here. Today, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. In this one, kind of a loner down video, whatever you want to call it, just talking about the struggles of 2020, why this team struggled in 2020, because as you all know, we did not qualify for the playoffs this year. Kind of a disappointment. Some people would say we got Super Bowl hungover, but I'll be talking a little bit about that in a second. But yeah, I mean, it's a bummer of a year. All year long, it's been pretty torturous. They had some great moments. They had some great games, but a lot of struggles and a lot of bad play from the 49ers in general. But, we're going to get into it right here, right now. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Nothing too crazy for me. Was going to have my prediction video today against the Cardinals, but I'm going to be holding it off until tomorrow on a Thursday. Just wanted to make this video because the Dallas Cowboys game that we lost, unfortunately, kind of prompted me to make this video. We'll see why the 49ers did have problems in 2020. Before I get the video started, as always, please like and subscribe. It's going to definitely help you out a lot. Click that bell notification to get notified of future videos. Share this content with fellow Niner faithfuls. Let's get this started. 49ers, why did they struggle in 2020? Well, I believe you guys know why we struggled the most part in 2020 this year in particular. I think the biggest reason why was because of injuries. I mean, when you have injuries as much as the 49ers do, everybody on IR, about $89-90 million salary cap in IR. Yeah, that's a big problem right there. I mean, it's one thing to blame injuries for a little bit of players, but when you have a team like the 49ers that's lost a lot of their starters, including their starting quarterback, starting tight end, some starting defensive players, wide receivers coming in and out, running backs coming in and out, nobody's been able to stay healthy, then yeah, that's a big problem right there. But the 49ers should use this opportunity in 2021 to address the reasons why they're getting injured so much. Is it because we didn't have any practice in 2020? A little bit to do with that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are dealing with injuries as well, but at the same time, they do have to find a way to get their conditioning program correct. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan's pushing them too hard in practice. I know that's kind of hard to say for NFL players, but sometimes you can have that point where you just get injured too much. I mean, you look at the NBA, a little bit of apples to oranges, but you look at Tom Thibodeau. He used to be the coach for the Timberwolves and the Bulls. He used to overwork his players, playing 48 plus minutes, whatever NBA game is, for 4 quarters, and yeah, that could really wear and tear players, and a lot of people got injured under his watch. And are we seeing that in practice with Kyle Shanahan and company? Hopefully not. Hopefully they're taking it easy as much as they can, especially with 2020 going on right now. But they have to address that situation some way, shape, or form. I don't know how you do that. I'm not a professional on how to train at big athletes, but they got to find a way to do that. John Lynch, the strength and conditioning program, and Kyle Shanahan, they all have to collaborate and go back to the drawing board on how to get injured less, because this was a problem last year in our Super Bowl run. We've had a lot of injuries middle of the season. Luckily, everybody was able to come back for the playoffs. Having players be in and out of the lineup, that's really annoying. That's really bad. And I know it gets not a good time for Shanahan to call plays and what have you. I mean, the one against Deebo Samuel in Washington, first play, he gets injured real quick, hamstring aggravation even more, and his playbook just got thrown off completely. And I don't, what can you do about that? But just looking at that, hopefully they improve that program. We'll see if they do that in 2021. Another problem for me, not just the injuries. I mean, as much as we want to blame the injuries, as much as they probably get a pass, I would say, from not just me, a lot of Niner faithful, probably people outside of San Francisco just looking at following this team all year long. I'd say a big problem for this team is quarterback/backup quarterback problem. Jimmy G, fine quarterback, great quarterback. I'm a big fan of his personally, but I don't think he's the long-term starting quarterback for the next 10 years. I wouldn't say that unless he proves me wrong in 2021. Assuming that he comes back, they got to look for somebody in the draft, in my opinion, a guy that can groom, even a guy to draft just to get some heat on Jimmy. I mean, you see Aaron Rodgers, he's playing out of his mind this year, in particular because they drafted Jordan Love in the first round. So maybe some heat like that. Zach Wilson, I think that's the guy from BYU, if I'm not mistaken. They draft him in the first round, they have a chance, or just any quarterback in the first round. That would put a lot of heat on Jimmy, and maybe he can get motivated to play even well, because his job is pretty much secure for the most part, minus the 49ers cutting him or anything like that. But if you look at it, CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins, probably Josh Rosen, they're not the answer to the 49ers quarterback situation for the next couple of years. So, he has a nice job security blanket. You got to put some heat on him. I think drafting the quarterback probably in the first or second round will definitely do that. So just got to look at that. And even if Jimmy G's not the problem, you look at the backup quarterback situation, it's even worse, to be honest with you. I mean, we've seen this season with Nick Mullins as our starting quarterback for a couple of games now. He's definitely not the backup quarterback that we all thought he was going to be after having a pretty good year in 2018, whatever it was, when Jimmy got hurt. He played okay. He had some nice victories, including against Oakland and Seattle. But other than that, this year in 2020, it's been a pretty disastrous one, I would say. I mean, 2+ turnovers every game. Turnover differential is like -14. We're one of the worst in the league in terms of turnover differential. We're one above the Denver Broncos. That's how bad we are this year in particular in terms of not taking the ball away on defense, but also on offense turning the ball away as more. I mean, it's one thing for defense not to get takeaways as long as they do stops, but to just give the ball away like that, the way Nick Mullins and company have been doing it, it's been disastrous, and we need somebody that has a little bit more carefulness to the ball. I mean, if I had to compare Nick Mullins, I would probably compare him to Daniel Jones, to be honest with you. I mean, he has some nice talent. He can make some plays, but when it comes to it, turnovers, fumbles, it's just a big problem, and that's why the 49ers have been losing a lot of games this year, in my opinion. He's probably the biggest reason why we are in the situation that we are right now, even with all the injuries right now, because I've seen the 49ers, they have chances to win games. You saw Washington, Dallas. I mean, that's two very winnable games right there. The Eagles game early on in the year, the whole NFC East in general, those were all winnable games, but Mullins, he put us in very bad situations, pick sixes, fumbles, interceptions, just all that stuff like that, and that just really hurts the team in a big way. I mean, Kyle Shanahan should not be relying on Jimmy Garoppolo all the time to be the savior. I mean, as much as Jimmy has his flaws, at least he can make plays. He can do some good stuff, and that's what they're missing definitely for the quarterback position. Just anybody other than, I guess, Mullins as the long-term starting quarterback, you got to look into it. And if they're looking for a backup quarterback, you can find somebody like a Josh Rosen if he is the guy they just signed, or in the draft, maybe in the 3rd or 4th round, if they can find somebody, identify a nice talent. But other than that, we got to find a backup quarterback spot. I think Nick Mullins is pretty much done as a starter forever. And, you know, it does suck to say that. Was high on him in 2018, but now, after watching him for a couple of games, I think it's pretty much over. And it's not all his fault, but he got to turn the team a little bit around, and he hasn't been able to do that, unfortunately. Big problem for the 49ers yet again. We talked about the injuries, big problem. Quarterback, backup quarterback, whatever you want to call it. And another thing I would probably say is the defense. I would say the defensive backs in particular. I mean, we do have some talent there, but I don't know. We always give up big plays for whatever reason. Richard Sherman, as much as I love him, he's getting a little bit old. I hate to say that, but you know, he's that all-pro guy that I still believe in terms of here. But physically, is he going to be that guy? And he's probably not going to be with us next year. You know, he's been adamant that he won't be back unless they have some miracle salary cap thing. I love to have him back. If he wants to transition to a safety, I would love for him to do that. But in terms of a cornerback, I don't know if he can do that as much anymore. I mean, I've seen him struggle a little bit in terms of defending the younger guys. It's been a difficult time for him. He's not his Seattle form like he was years ago. I mean, torn Achilles, you know, always has some lingering effect, I would think, if you have a serious injury like that. I don't know. It's just a defensive back. There's just something wrong with it, in my opinion. I can't really put my hand on it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. If you guys watch the games, we always giving up plays or whatever. It just sucks to see that right there. So hopefully they address the defensive back positions, whether it's in the draft or free agency. They did not do that in 2020 offseason. It was very risky to do that. They were comfortable with the guys that they had on the roster, but unfortunately with a lot of injuries and just a lot of bad play in general, it's not really working out well. So really, I mean, those are the big things I would target for the 49ers to look forward to in this upcoming 2021 offseason. One more problem, I would say a big one, is the trenches, especially the offensive line. That is a big problem for the 49ers for all year long, I would say. I mean, all the injuries have really piled up. Ben Garland, Weston Richburg, the center positions, they've been in a flex right there. Daniel Brunskill, he's done an okay job, so I'll give him credit for that. But anybody right to him, whether it's the right guard, right tackle position, it's been a big problem. Mike McGlinchey, he is looking like a bust this year. Can he improve in 2021? Maybe, hopefully, but it's not really looking good for him. A lot of people are complaining about him, and rightfully so, because he's given up a lot of bad sacks. He's given up bad penalties, I would say. He's just been struggling this year in 2020, and I don't want to write him off completely, because 2018, 2019, he's shown a lot of promise. It's not like he was a bum for the past couple of years and then, you know, it's time to blow up and do something else. He just had a bad year this year in 2020, and hopefully he can rebound in 2021. We'll see. I mean, a lot of people are saying that he should bulk up and get heavier, which that's probably the best thing to do, especially for a tackle. You got to do something if you're McGlinchey. I mean, he's had a lot of doubters this year so far, and hopefully he can shut him up in 2021 and, you know, stop the complaints, I guess you want to call it. But they had to address that in the draft as well. I mean, if I were in the first round, I would probably draft an offensive line over anything else. You see anybody with a great offensive line or average quarterback can be great, and that's what they need to do, in my opinion, for this upcoming draft, is to draft an offensive line the best way they can, because, you know, it's hard to find offensive lines that are awesome, in my opinion. So, you know, that's just me right there. Defensive line, not too bad. I mean, considering the fact that everybody's beat up so far, but they do need to get a little bit more pass rush. I mean, losing D Ford all year long, losing Nick Bosa all year long, it does hurt quite a bit, and hopefully we can get those guys back in 2021. Well, D Ford, he's probably not going to be coming back because it's pretty difficult. I mean, unless they have faith in him in 2021 to stay healthy, I just don't see it anymore. It's pretty iffy on his situation just in playing football in general. Is he going to retire in 2021? Very great talent. I mean, all you guys know, he can play football. He is a very good guy to get to the quarterback, rush the quarterback, but just the injuries have been hampering him all year in his time in San Francisco, and this would be a great trade from Kansas City, but unfortunately, it's not really working out. It's a big bummer right there. I think the pass rush will improve definitely in 2021. Just got to go with it this year. No sacks as much. I mean, I think I heard on Sunday that we had like 40-plus sacks at this time against Dallas last week, and then coming into the game this year, we only have like 20-something, so the sack difference is there, and they got to address it definitely in 2021. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. A little bit of a long video right here. Just wanted to talk about some things that were a big problem for the 49ers in 2020. I mean, injuries, yes, that's a big thing, a big pass, I would say, for the 49ers, but they still have underlying issues, and they probably still would have had these underlying issues if they were healthy as much as they could. All right, guys, I'm going to end the video right here. Please let me know what you guys think about the 49ers and their problems in 2020. I like what you guys say in the comments below. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. It's going to help me out a lot. I'll be catching you guys up tomorrow on Thursday when I do my prediction video against the Arizona Cardinals. I'll see y'all then. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Go Niners all day.